Hilarious foreign signs that were badly translated into English. Visitors to this Chinese restaurant are sure to wonder what on earth they are ordering. Does the chef really have to do that to prepare the meal? What kind of restaurant have you walked into? It turns out that the first symbol on the menu for this dish is also slang for the F word. The fact that the rest of the translation makes it sound like your meal has been blown to pieces effectively hides the fact that this item is actually duck stir fry. After reading this poorly translated sign in a popular pond, the message seems to make perfect sense to us. After all, it seems like a rather painful way to feed the fish, who we here prefer fish food to privates. This menu at a Chinese restaurant demonstrates that literal translations can create quite an interesting menu selection. Did the chicken you're about to eat have a bad personality? Is the dish foul and hard to eat? Customers may at first wonder what on earth this dish is exactly. It all makes sense once you realize that rude and unreasonable is another way of saying jerk. This sign suffers from a literal translation with the added benefit of a rather confusing picture. Is the lady here named Miss Fire? Does she have a problem throwing things in the garbage can? Probably not, and most people are likely quick to understand that this sign is telling you to aim for the toilet bowl. Although, judging by the picture, there is no toilet and we are expected to pee in the nearest wastepaper basket. This sign in a public bathroom in Beijing sure does make users feel good about themselves. As part of a government program to keep facilities clean and hygienic, each sign are meant to reinforce a standard of behavior among residents and tourists. Although, we don't recommend you literally follow the second guideline the next time your neighbor invites you over to his place for a swim. Just to show that not all bad translations belong to China, we found this French sign. Punctuation can be so important when translating and making up signs. This sign makes us think that this area is only accessible to greased up toddlers. Are people over 5 years of age not allowed if they are dry? There are so many questions to answer, and this sign doesn't help at all. In some areas of the world, tourists are warned about alligators or poisonous snakes. Apparently, in China, they have to worry about a whole other dangerous predator that could be stalking them. While it's easy to see that the sign is meant to warn people to watch their step, the terrible translation does create an interesting image. It's further complicated by the picture of the hand. Signs in public restrooms aren't anything new. The sign in a Chinese bathroom might confuse more than one tourist, however. While the wording conjures images of users jostling and pushing ahead to use the bathroom, judging by the picture, crouching over the toilet seat like some trained house cat is also prohibited. The main problem with the sign is choice of wording in translation. The Chinese characters are for "don't step on," but the translator opted to use the English word "stampede" instead. Literally taken, this crude and clunky translation is warning us to be aware of two things. First, apparently there is a safe in the area we need to be aware of. Second, there must be a gang nicknamed the Slippery, who are around and we should be aware that they can be crafty. Listen, we don't like vegetables either, but there's no need for the language. This Chinese sign found in a market must have been dreamed up by some kid who was getting revenge for last night's dinner, right? Actually, as we've seen already, dropping the F-bomb isn't that uncommon in translation. The first two symbols in the sign mean dried vegetables. Unfortunately, the first symbol is also slang for a certain four-letter F word. The translator must have become fixated on the first symbol and attached the wrong word. Hey, thanks for watching! I hope you enjoyed the video. Here are some other videos you might like. Don't forget to subscribe.